hating someone is disbelieving in God. I unfortunately cannot tell you where I heard this quote. I read it recently. I read this quote and I can't remember from where. But I remember that when I did read it, it hit me in the gut like a punch. It felt like someone punched me in the gut. This video is a little more personal for me because hate is definitely a word I have used many times in the past and as of recently. There are people in this world and in my life that I decided I hated. And for a long time I decided that was okay. That the vast majority of people I was going to try and love and accept. But there were just some people that I hated, that I just couldn't stand. And that I used hate, that I used that word for. And then I read it, that hating somebody is disbelieving in God. And it felt like a punch in the gut because I knew instantly that it was true. To hate someone is to disbelieve in God. It is to reject some of his greatest commandments, his greatest rules. And it is just something that fills your heart with poison and takes up room in your mind when there shouldn't be that room available for that kind of stuff. When that room should be used for the betterment of yourself and the world around you. Instead, you use that room to hate people and to harbor negative thoughts about them in your mind. This is something I've struggled with. The people that I decided that I wanted to hate, they would live rent-free in my mind some days or for periods of days. And that can no longer go on, for me at least, and for you if you're somebody who's using the word hate. Or if you're somebody who you dislike people to the extent that you can't stop thinking about them, and then you let that poisonous energy just ruin your day or your, whatever period of day you're in. Everything, and this is a broad statement, but everything is God. People are God. The fate of who you run into, it's all God. And to reject your fate, to reject somebody, is to reject God, I think, in a very broad sense. God has brought the people into your life for a reason. The people you interact with, the people you live with, the people you're related to. This is all part of your life, of your fate, of the path you're going down. And if you do truly believe in God, then you have to understand that loving that fate, loving whoever it is comes across your path, or at least accepting them or tolerating them, and trying your best to, put yourself in their shoes, or to think about why they're saying the things they do, or at the very least just pray for them or hope that you can do better. Doing these things, that is believing in God. That is accepting your fate and accepting them. And not only does this help elevate you spiritually to whatever religion you're talking about. For me, it's Christianity. But I'm sure all the other religions of the world preach this kind of stuff too. The Bible, obviously, it's, love you thy neighbor as you love yourself. Treat other people as you want to be treated. The golden rule. And to not do that, to hate somebody, is to essentially disbelieve in God. Because if you do believe in God, then you understand that this person is his creation too. And you understand, more importantly even, that this other person is trying their best. They're doing what they think is right, just like you are. Everybody on the earth, even crazy people, they're doing what they think is appropriate. They're taking the actions that they think are appropriate. Even the most terrible, awful actions. Like recently, unfortunately, Charlie Kirk was assassinated last week. The person who assassinated him, when he was, taking the shot, killing Charlie Kirk, he believed truly that he was doing what was right. He was taking a necessary action. Now, obviously, we can say that wasn't the necessary action, but he believed it was. And whenever you go through your life, you also believe that you're taking the right actions, the necessary actions in your life, the good actions. You're doing your best. At least most of the time we do our best. Not always. But I hope my comparison makes sense. People who do evil things are doing what they think is best. They think they're doing the right thing. They think they're doing good. Same goes for you. You think you're doing good. And just that small way of thinking, just putting yourself in another person's shoes and understanding that they're, just trying their best. It helps alleviate hate. It helps alleviate disdain. It's something that I've been trying to practice. Robert Greene preaches this all the time, is put yourself in other people's shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. Really get into their mind. Try and understand how they think and why they think. What influences them to think the way they do or say the things they do. Whatever it is about them that you hate. Try and understand why they're like that. And that can help. And back to my main point is this is how we live with each other. This is how we grow as human beings, is by exercising these things. And God knows that. That's why it's all over the Bible. Love others as you love yourself. And to hate somebody is not only to reject them, but it's also to reject God. And I'm trying to think of a better way to break that down, but I can't right now. In my heart, I know that hating somebody, rejecting them is also rejecting God, because everything is God. Everybody has a slight sliver of the divine inside them. The Stoics talk about that. A slight, tiny piece of the divine was placed in us. And to reject a piece of God is just to disrespect him and pretty much reject him entirely. Or at least that's what I believe. And so I'm making this video for all the people out there who are poisoned with hate and have a trouble getting through the day because they can't stop thinking about how ridiculous someone else is, or how could somebody say that or do that. I hope this is able to help you, because you can live a much more peaceful life if you practice some of the things I talked about in this video, or many of the other ways that are out there. Believe in God and love everybody, or at the very least accept them and try to understand them. It will make for a much more beautiful and loving life. And once again, that's just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day.